Good morning, Old Colony Baptist Association. For those of you who don't know me, I am Reverend Christine Keddy, and I was supposed to be at your breakfast the other day and do this for you in person, this little talk. And unfortunately, I had some issues with my car. And my husband and I just recently moved to Rhode Island, so I am couple hours away from most places in Massachusetts. And I didn't feel comfortable driving that long distance with my car being in a questionable state. So I reached out to Diane Badger and I asked her if I could do a video and she could send it out to everyone in the Old Colony, and you'll get to hear what I would have said had I been at the breakfast in person. So she said that would be fine. And so that's what I'm going to do this morning. So first off, I would like to bring greetings from TABCOM and say that things are a little challenging right now with getting folks out to visit. For those of you who don't know, our beloved Reverend Dr. Mary Miller is recovering from the results of some surgery that she had, which were the results of a fall that she took a few weeks ago. She suffered some significant damage to her eye and her face and has had to have some surgery. So she's been recovering from that. And so we just are a little bit challenged right now in terms of having staff that can get out to churches. And also, given the current uptick in numbers with COVID, it's a little uncertain about how some of us feel about doing things in person. So thankfully, we have this technology, and it is, although frustrating at times, a wonderful way for us to be able to reach out and still be speaking to you from the safety of our homes. So that being said, I wanted to talk about three things that are important and going on in my world in TABCOM, which is elder ministry and missions. So first of all, in terms of missions, I wanted to say that there are so many things happening right now virtually in the world of missions. Some teams have started to go out and do some in-person mission trips, and that has been happening a little bit. It's slowly getting in. So we know that we had done some initiatives in Puerto Rico, and they are just starting to open that back up as an opportunity for churches to go down there and work as teams. There is still, unfortunately, significant damage to a number of houses as a result of Hurricane Maria, which was years ago, and still there are many, primarily older folks, who have not been able to get their roofs repaired and either still have tarps on their roofs or roofs that are leaking. And when those leaks happen, often that encourages black mold, which is toxic, to grow inside the houses. So it's a very serious problem, and there still are a significant number of roofs that need to be repaired. So that is primarily the physical work that happens for teams that are going down right now to work in Puerto Rico. The place where you will stay, which is a retreat space, they have enacted some pretty significant COVID protocols. They're taking a lot less groups than they used to before COVID, so that at every time there's only one group staying in the retreat center, and they used to have multiple groups staying in there at one time. So now they just have one group, and that enables them to be able to spread everybody out. And folks are required to wear masks when they're in common spaces. And there's going to be some distance between people for sleeping and all those things. So I have more information about if there is a church that feels ready to do that. There still are some significant issues around travel as a result of the virus. So things that need to happen in terms of either folks being vaccinated to go, or if not being vaccinated to go, then they need to test every other day. So it's rather complicated. I do have the information about that. So if there are churches that are interested in doing that, I can help with coordinating it. I personally am not prepared at this time to travel in an airplane and to stay on the mission field. I would prefer to continue to work as someone who would coordinate things based upon my current living situation, which my husband and I are living in our very small sailboat, and there's not a lot of space. Should one of us become ill, there's nowhere for us to quarantine separately. And for that reason, to keep my husband safe, I'm continuing to be fairly conservative in what I am doing in person, but I'm doing a lot on Zoom. So first off, that's the information for live in-person mission trips. There are also quite a few virtual mission experiences that are coming up. I just recently finished a mission experience virtually that went to Israel and Palestine, and it was amazing. Most of these trips have been led through international ministries and our friend, Reverend Sandra Dorsonville and her team. And so I am always posting both on my own personal social media and on our TABCOM website and in our TABCOM notes, which, by the way, if you don't get the TABCOM notes, we send those out twice a month. And that has everything that you need to know in it about what's going on in TABCOM. Everything from virtual mission opportunities, where the various staff members are visiting, who is getting ordained, who's having an ordination council, what types of events are coming up in our TABCOM family, what's happening within the various different associations. There is so much information in there. And our communications coordinator, Minister Robin Mars, does a fantastic job putting these notes together, and everything that you need to know about what's happening in TABCOM is in these notes. You should be getting 2 monthly emails with the TABCOM notes. If you are not, please reach out to me after watching this video. I am Keddy, Keddy, at tabcom.org. And please give me your email and I will have you added on to the distribution list for the TABCOM notes, because everything that you need to know is in there. So that being said, there will be some wonderful virtual mission trips, which allow folks who may not be either able to travel, physically able to travel, or financially able to travel, or have a caregiving situation at home that means they have to stay home and can't travel. There are any number of ways or reasons that folks could have why they aren't able to travel. And these virtual mission trips have made it really accessible for that population within our churches, which previously really couldn't be involved with missions other than to pray, and which is important, very important, and financially support missions. But this enables folks to really be a part of it. And when you go on a virtual mission trip, you receive an orientation about the country of where you will be and the culture and what's going to happen when you get on the mission field, just like you would receive an orientation if you were traveling in person with a team. And you usually have an experience of anywhere from 3 to 5 days where you spend a good portion of the day on Zoom in the morning, usually a few hours visiting different ministries that are happening in that area, meeting different pastors and church leaders that are working in that area, and everything from learning about the food and having opportunities to cook food, and learning about the music and the culture and what's happening in ministry in that area. It varies from place to place, but I've been now on 3 of these trips and they have been incredibly enriching. So I encourage you to think about participating in one of those trips. The third thing and the final thing I'd like to say about missions is that I need mission advocates to join our team. My wish and my hope and my prayer is that I would have a mission advocate from each TABCOM church to join our monthly meetings. It's a once a month meeting. They happen on a Saturday morning at 9:30. And so that means that those folks who are working full-time during the day, during the week, can still make the meeting. They're not in the evening when a lot of people either have other things going on or are exhausted from the day, but they're once a month on a Saturday morning. And we have various different guests from the world of missions who will join us, different speakers and authors and global servants that will come and tell us about their work. And then I will also give a little blurb about what's going on in TABCOM. And you will get to meet some fantastic mission-minded people that are part of this world of being a mission advocate. And then you take that information back to your church. So you function as a liaison between what's happening in TABCOM missions and what's going on in your church. So I very much need folks to join this team. And if you are in the sound of my voice and watching this video, and you know of somebody in your church who has a heart for missions and would like to be more involved in what's happening within TABCOM, even to the point of understanding the mission of TABCOM, and there'll be some information about what's happening in our world, and you can bring that back to your church. So please, pastors, church leaders, people who are listening to this, reach out to me if you would like me to add you to the distribution list for the Mission Advocate meetings, and I would be more than happy to do that. So that's all that's happening in missions. This is already longer than I had anticipated it was going to be. I will give 2 quick blurbs about elder ministry, and then I will leave you to get on with your day. 2 wonderful initiatives have happened this year in elder ministry that I'm extremely excited about. One is a grant program called TABCOM Tech Angels, and we have funds in elder ministry to help people in the churches who are older and may not have the ability to participate in church offerings through Zoom, either because they don't have the equipment, or they don't have the technological know-how, or they don't have the Wi-Fi, or maybe they don't have all 3 of those things. It's very simple. If you have somebody in your church that you know, so for example, we had a friend in Martha's Vineyard on the church there. She was running a Bible study, and she knew that there was a woman in their church who wanted to be part of this Zoom Bible study, but this woman could not participate in the Zoom Bible study because she did not have any way to get on the internet. She didn't have a computer or a tablet, and she needed to be able to have that in order to participate in the Zoom study. So they put together a letter. It's very simple. All I need is the following information: who the person is who needs the help. What kind of help do they need? Do they need a computer? Do they need a tablet? Do they need Wi-Fi? And who is the person from your church who is going to help them get set up? So each church that asks for this grant money needs to have someone on the church staff or a lay leader or somebody who is going to commit to going to this person's house, showing them how to use the equipment, helping them to get connected, setting them up, because giving them a bunch of equipment and then just saying, here you go, good luck, is not the way we're going to do this. So if you in your churches have anybody that meets that qualification and needs help with getting technologically savvy to be able to do Zoom, please reach out to me. Again, Keddy at tabcom.org, KEDDY at tabcom.org. The second thing that's happening is I just finished a 6-week pilot program, if you will, and it was a workshop, 6-week workshop. I did it with the wonderful and amazing folks at West Acton Baptist Church. It's called Writing Your Life, and it's a 6-week workshop. We meet for an hour and 15 minutes each session, and we learn about creating a memoir project. And that is a project where you will record your life stories in a way that you can pass down to your family members, so that someday, if you are no longer able to tell your stories yourself, they will have a record of your stories and your life and all of the things that have been meaningful in your life. And so we learned a number of different techniques: journaling, art, story prompts, various different ways of recording our stories so that it fits with each individual. No project is going to look the same, but we did talk about ways of organizing our project, materials that we can use for our projects. And everyone's project is coming out different from this group that we participated in, and that's wonderful. We had 2 guest instructors. I did most of the instruction, and then we did have 2 guest instructors who taught us about other techniques. And it was such a rich and amazing experience that the folks in the group decided that since we had just scratched the surface and we really only had just gotten started after 6 weeks, that we were going to continue meeting on a monthly basis in order to encourage one another in our projects and have some accountability. So folks would know that, you know, they need to work on their project every month because we're going to meet in the month and we're going to talk about how far we've gotten in our projects and share some of the things we've done. So it was a very rich experience. Amazing, amazing. I can go on and on about how important these types of things can be, both for growth within your congregation in terms of the relationships with each other and for deepening those relationships spiritually and emotionally. But also I have grand plans to offer these workshops in non-church environments as well. So senior centers, nursing homes, different places where folks that are older would gather, and also to have our church workshops be workshops where people would reach out and invite people who are not part of the church to do one of these workshops. And there's amazing opportunity for mission in that. So I've already gone over the time I planned to spend, and there's so much information, and I've just given you a taste. But if you have any questions about anything that I've mentioned or any desire to be involved in any of the initiatives that I've mentioned, again, please reach out to me, Keddy at tabcom.org, KEDDY at tabcom.org, and we will get you set up to become more involved with either missions or elder ministry, or maybe even both. So with that said, I am going to send you on your way with a blessing and hope that you have a wonderful day. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And I hope there was some information in it that would be useful to you. Be blessed and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.